Thanks for being with us. Every 12 or 18 months or so, I like to welcome a new Sky Blues manager to the area. And it's your turn today, so well done. Congratulations for that one. Tell me what you were thinking last night when you were watching the performance last night. I know. Neil McFarlane said that you were in at half time and had a few words. What are your initial thoughts?
Well, ultimately the result was disappointing. I thought that it was a wet, cold, windy night on a bobbly pitch in Barnsley, and them are the days really you've got to make sure you don't lose football matches. Really, it wasn't a day for playing an attractive brand of football. It was a day for not losing a goal and being solid and trying to come away with something. And unfortunately, we lost a goal from a set play, and Barnsley are number one in the First Division on scoring goals from set plays, which the team had been aware of. And unfortunately, we fell victim to it. I think the balance of the play, we had a lot more opportunities than they did, and yet, the harshness of football at times is if you don't put the ball in the net, you don't win the game. And but there were some positive signs, but again, plenty to work on. And first and foremost is to lift confidence and belief of the team.
And when you look at the water that's gone under the bridge, it's interesting. I've been talking, people knowing you're coming on the show this morning, Tony, and I have to say, universally pleased and excited in equal measure that you're going to be taking up the job. So that's a great start. But let me just give you, I've had a tweet this morning from Sky Blue Sam who says, does Tony Mowbray know the fans, how they feel about Sisu? Does he know the story about all the history and all of that? And I know to a degree, that you kind of think, well, that isn't your concern, but there's a big backstory here, Tony. How aware are you of that?
Well, I'm as aware as I've been made aware of it, to be honest. Obviously, I've met the owners and I've met all the directors and the chief executive, and I've got their call on everything. From afar, from my past jobs, my past life, I'm a football nut, so I'm obviously aware of everything going on at most clubs and most stories, and so I was aware of the issues around Coventry City Football Club, and yet, as you rightly said, I'm a football manager. I have no real concerns on the politics of football, as long as I'm allowed to get on with my job and know the parameters that I work in. And so, do I know that there's not going to be 20 million to spend this season, next season? Yes. I know the parameters, I know the budgets. Was I happy to come and have a look at it, really? And I think it's important for a football manager to know the people. You talk about managing up. I have to manage up as well as manage the players, managing down to the squad and the staff. But managing up as well is very, very important in football managing, and trying to have a respect and a mutual respect that works both ways, and understand my problems and I'll try and understand their problems, and just to try and work together. And I think the people I met, I enjoyed their company for 3, 4, 5 hours talking football, talking through the problems, and ultimately what happens in football clubs, you win enough football matches, the supporters hopefully will get behind the team that they love and have loved since they were boys. Like I grew up on Teesside and followed Middlesbrough all my life from 7-year-old. I know there's Coventry fans all over the area who were just waiting for the club to ignite again and the good days to be back. And I'm here to try and start the process. I talked yesterday about lighting the touch paper, trying to light the touch paper that get the fans excited again about coming back and supporting their team. And for the people.
And what was it that made you decide, actually, this is a job I'd like to throw my hat in the ring for? What is it? Why did you want to come to Coventry City?
Because I genuinely think they have majorly underachieved. They are a club at the moment. I know there's a question you might, well, can they go any lower? Well, yes, they can, because if we don't win enough games in the next 13, they will go lower. But in my mind, I only positively are thinking I can help Coventry get back to where they rightly belong. And where is that? It's in my mind, it's hopefully somewhere between the top of the Championship and the middle of the Premier League. And if we can get to that sort of point with the football club and take it from where it's been, it will be hopefully a successful and enjoyable journey for all the people involved. And that obviously includes the fans, because they'll see their team winning a lot. Sometimes you could take a big job of a club that you have to keep at the top, and I've taken on that challenge also when I went to Glasgow Celtic and had to get into the Champions League and got beat by Arsenal in a two-legged playoff for a Champions League position, and yet it's seen as a negative. Here I am at Coventry taking on a club that I believe are hugely underachieving. Their rightful status in the pyramid of football should be a lot higher. How do you get them there? I think the squad needs looking at, adjusting, find players that will help the club and the team prosper and win football matches, first and foremost at the level they're at, and then you have to bring players in that can deal with the league above and become players that will get the team out of that league also. So it's a process. Managers talk about given time. Only if you have the resources regarding can you move the squad on? So in my last club, for instance, I was a little bit stuck with players on 4-year deals, on good salaries, that weren't performing and couldn't move them out. Nobody wanted to buy them, and I couldn't get rid of them because they weren't moving as the salaries. I don't think that's the case at this club, and I think if the squad does need tending to and moving around and finding some different players and getting a better balance, then I think the opportunity is there. And so, as a football manager, I was intrigued by that challenge of can I find the players, can I find the balance, can we give Coventry fans a team that they want to go and watch because it's exciting and it scores goals and it wins matches.
Tell me about your contract, because and again, this just shows the level of distrust from some fans and the relationship with the board. They are really quite distrustful of what they see, and there's a lot of people contacting me this morning, Tony, and saying only for the next 13 games, only to the end of the season. What happens after that? Just explain to fans listening this morning why you've done a deal with the club, why you and the club have done a deal together to only sign on until the end of the season. Just explain the raison d'etre behind all of that.
Well, I think it's something that when I initially had a talk with the owners a few days ago and the chief executive, I think it just the precarious position from my perspective, and I've been very respectful of the club because ultimately, as I've talked about, the club is about the fans, the people who've grown up as boys and supported this club all their lives. You have to be respectful of those people, and yet, in my position, so looking at it from my point of view, I'm looking at a club on the cusp of the relegation from Division 1 to Division 2, not knowing everything about every player or the runnings of the club and the in and outs of it. I need to come in, assess it, make my decisions whether I think it's a club that can first and foremost stabilise and then push on. In my mind, if I'd have come in and it was absolute chaos and behind the scenes was a mess and there was just too much work to do and people weren't sure of what was happening, it would have, in my mind, been the wrong job at the wrong time, and maybe for a different type of guy, maybe a firefighter, maybe a different type of manager. I'm a manager who tries to take people along with them, tries to engage with the players, with the supporters, and let them enjoy the journey as we go along and prosper. Sometimes football clubs need a more gritty character, a firefighter who is going to dig them out and battle and fight and scrap.
Does it make it easier in a way, Tony, because you've got one job and one job only to do, and your job is to get the team in some kind of shape so that they can stay in the league that they're in right now and then regroup for next season? Is that the one job that you've got to do, really?
Well, that's what I'm trying to do, and yet it goes against the grain. So what I would say to Coventry fans listening today, don't expect on Saturday or the following Tuesday to see a silky soccer football team that are knocking the ball around and playing great football, because I don't think we're in a position now to turn the belief and the confidence of the players in such a short period of time, in 2 days, to make them play, fancy football. In my mind, we have to find a way with the group of players we've got to win some games. And once we stabilise and we have enough points and we stay in the league, in my mind, you see, I'm only really looking long term to the point of let's get to the summer, let's make sure we stay in this league, let's have 8 weeks through the close season and the pre-season of building the team, showing them a style of play we want, giving the players the demands that are put on them week in, week out, and how we're going to play, and have a team that darts to be like inverted commas a Tony Mowbray team, a team that will get the ball down and try and dictate football matches with the ball.
And does that mean that in that period you're going to be assessing what it's like behind the scenes, what you think your relationship with the board is going to be? You're going to be assessing that. So the jury's out as far as you're concerned about whether you sign on after the end of the season, is it?
Yeah, but you don't come into the job thinking the jury's out. I'm really only focused on these next 13 games. And in my mind, I'm very, very positive about getting enough points to stay in the league. As we go along on a daily basis, I will be interacting. But life, football clubs are about people. So when I'm speaking to the owners, when I sit to the chief executive in the office at the training ground, and we're talking about football, can we do this, can we do that? I'm getting the vibe, I'm getting the feel. Are they wanting to be positive? I genuinely feel the owners of this football club just need to be given some belief that this club can go in the right direction, and once they see the signs of it, and you, as again, I'll use the same quote, light the touch paper for the owners. I'm sure the investment and the backing and the support will be there, and the club will prosper and move forward. But I think they need the encouragement to know that an individual can come in and change the feel of a club.
Listen.
Change the passion for it, the want from the players, the desire from the fans, all of those things. You've got to galvanise them, you've got to pick them up, and you've got to drag them with you.
We wish.
And it's called leadership, and hopefully we can find that.